Welcome back to the Deep Dive, where we take your stack of information and turn it into instant, highly specific expertise.
Today we are taking a really fascinating look through a literal breach in a wall.
Huh, literally.
Hmm.
We're going to examine what looks like it could be the next big thing in romantic comedy anime.
It's got all the right ingredients for sure.
So I want you to imagine this scenario. You're Rinko Nakame, you're 24, you're an office worker.
Pretty standard so far.
Right. And you've done a really good job of compartmentalizing your life. You have your professional side, and then you have your secret, deeply cherished otaku life. Your apartment is your sanctuary.
A safe space.
Exactly. It's the one place you can relax, be yourself, no judgment. It's perfect, it's private, and then bam!
The interruption.
A huge, violent, and honestly comically placed hole appears in your wall, connecting you to your neighbors. All that perfect solitary bliss is just gone.
Instantly shattered. I love it.
And that structural failure is the ingenious premise behind the announced anime adaptation of the manga, pardon the intrusion, I'm Home.
A fantastic title.
Isn't it? So our mission today is pretty clear. We're going to unpack the key details of its 2026 debut. We'll focus on the wild premise, obviously, but also the massive star power in the voice cast.
And critically, the creative talent behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
The people who have to make sure this quirky idea actually works on screen.
Right.
And, this is a title that already has a huge fan base. The original manga by Watamura is really beloved. The fact that NTT Solmare is announcing it tells you they're aiming for a big mainstream hit.
So the pressure's on.
Oh, yeah. And the key thing the anime has to capture isn't just jokes. It's this unique blend of, genuinely strange living situations and very specific, very real character anxiety.
So that's a great way to put it.
It's that tension, the tension between her very real internal freak out and the completely absurd reality she's now stuck in. That's where the best humor comes from.
Internal neuroses meeting external absurdity. I love that. Okay, so let's really break down the setup here, starting with our heroine, Rinko Nakame. She's 24, she's navigating that corporate life, but she's carrying this secret, her otaku passions. The source material really emphasizes her need for secrecy.
It's not just a casual hobby for her, is it?
Not at all. She is committed to keeping this part of her life walled off, probably afraid of judgment from her colleagues or, just society in general. This immediately sets up her need for these really strict boundaries.
And that detail, the fact that she's a secret otaku, is so crucial. It means she's built this, rigid psychological wall around herself.
Right.
And what happens? The universe literally punches a physical hole through her actual wall. It's perfect.
Her peaceful little world, her sanctuary, it becomes what the material calls an accidental hub.
She can't escape. That forced proximity is the engine for the whole show. She has to navigate it.
But let me ask you this. Are we getting a little tired of forced proximity in rom-coms? I mean, is a hole in the wall really enough to carry a whole series in 2026, or is it just a gimmick?
That is a really important question. And I think if the only thing it had was the hole, it would fall flat. But the genius here is who is on either side of that hole. That's what makes it work. The comedy and the drama all come from the specific, wildly different neighbors she's now connected to.
Right, it's the contrast. So on one side, Rinko meets Akito Satsuki. He's described as sweet, but also very enigmatic.
The classic charming mystery man.
Totally. The potential romantic lead who seems to take a liking to Rinko almost right away, but you can't quite figure him out. He's offering this, warmth and flirtation through the wall.
Okay, so you got the sweet one.
But then on the other side, you have Haruma Usada.
And he is.
The complete opposite. Brooding, difficult, and he's prone to these, sudden bursts of aggression.
So she's literally stuck in the middle.
Physically and emotionally, yeah. She's caught between this charming, sweet mystery and a volatile, temperamental, ticking time bomb.
See, that elevates it beyond just, my neighbor plays their music too loud. Her internal anxiety about being exposed is now constantly being poked at by these two extremes.
And she can't just shut the door. The barrier is gone.
Exactly. The hole in the wall becomes this powerful metaphor for her losing control of her private life. The show has to get that balance right, the physical comedy of trying to patch drywall with the emotional tension of falling for a guy through that same hole.
So the premise is solid. It's a great foundation. But a great foundation needs, a great structure built on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
If the setting is the engine, the voice cast is the transmission. And they have assembled an absolute powerhouse lineup. What does that tell you?
It tells me they are spending serious money. It signals a massive investment and a ton of confidence right from the start.
You're not just hoping for a hit at that point.
No, you're practically guaranteeing industry buzz and a high level of performance. They're trying to define the new pulse of romantic comedies, not just add to the noise.
Okay, so let's dive into the names and connect the dots for everyone listening. Leading the charge as our anxious hero, Rinko Nakame, is the phenomenal Kana Hanazawa.
A legend. Huge get.
A huge get. I mean, fans know her from dozens of roles, but let's just use one big touchstone. She's the voice of Mitsuri Kanroji in Demon Slayer.
The love Hashira. So super expressive, powerful, very outward.
Exactly. Which is a huge shift going from a character like that to a more timid internal office worker.
But that's why it's such a smart choice. Hanazawa has incredible range. She can do the quiet internal anxiety of Rinko, but she can also deliver those huge, explosive emotional swings.
Which is exactly what's going to happen to Rinko.
Of course. She's caught between two weirdos. This casting tells me Rinko isn't going to be a passive heroine. She's going to have some incredible vocal intensity. Kind of subverts your expectations.
It really does. So then we move to one of the men next door, Akito Satsuki, the sweet one. He's voiced by Kaito Ishikawa.
Okay, another big name.
A very big name. For a lot of people, his foundational role is Tenya Aida from My Hero Academia.
Right. The super disciplined, loud, by-the-book class rep. All about rules and order.
So what's interesting here is seeing Ishikawa go from a character who is all about projecting outward to someone who needs to be, quietly charming and mysterious.
That's a good point. And there is a small risk there, isn't there? When a voice is that famous for one type of role, does the audience just hear Tenya Aida shouting about rules instead of a soft-spoken romantic lead?
Does the fame get in the way of the character? It's a valid concern, but I think maybe that contrast is the point.
How so?
Ishikawa has this inherent earnestness in his voice, even as Aida. And if Akito is supposed to be endearing, but also a little mysterious, that sincerity could translate really well into vulnerability, which is perfect for a rom-com.
Yeah, it's a great read on it. You see that.
And then rounding out the main trio, the other neighbor, Haruma Usada, the brooding one, is voiced by Haruki Isha.
Known for his work on things like Sound, Euphonium.
Right, so maybe not as globally famous as the other two, but his inclusion provides that necessary balance for the trio.
Absolutely. You stack the deck with Hanazawa and Ishikawa, and you create this incredible magnetic pull. The production is basically screaming, trust us, these performances will be captivating. It's a huge vote of confidence in the original manga.
So we've got the brilliant premise, we've got the A-list cast. Now we have to talk about the people actually making the show, the creative minds behind the curtain.
Because the best actors in the world can't save a bad script or shoddy animation.
Exactly. This is where we look at the execution.
And this team looks pretty solid. Leading the whole project as director is Itsuki Imazaki. So he's setting the visual tone, the comedic timing, but just as important is the narrative architect, Makoto Takada, who's handling series composition.
Can you break that down for our listeners? What exactly does a series composition director do when you're adapting a manga?
So they are basically the story's guardian. They decide which manga chapters to adapt, what to trim, what to expand on, and most importantly, how the whole season flows.
The pacing.
The pacing, yeah. They make sure the emotional beats, both for the comedy and the romance, land at the right time. They build the whole framework.
And Takada is known for work like Ningen Fusion. What does that tell us?
Well, that's a key detail. That show has some, let's say, darker, more cynical psychological elements. It's about characters with real trust issues.
Okay, so not just light, fluffy comedy.
No. And that suggests he knows how to handle complex character dynamics. If this show was just slapstick, it would lose its edge. The fact that the story lead has experience with genuine emotional stakes suggests they understand. Rinko's problem needs to feel real, not just silly.
That's a crucial insight. And who's handling the look of the show?
That would be Shunsuke Kikuchi. He's pulling double duty as both character designer and chief animation director.
Two big roles.
Huge. As character designer, he's translating Watamora's manga art into a model for animation. The colors, proportions, expressions. But as chief animation director, he's the guardian of consistency.
Making sure everyone looks the same from scene to scene.
Exactly. He makes sure Rinko's hair is drawn the same way, that her panicked expressions are sharp and consistent across every single frame. His job is vital for the show's visual quality.
So putting it all together, it seems like we can expect a pretty polished production. The pedigree here, from the director to the composer to the animation lead, it all points toward an adaptation that's going to be a visual and narrative feast, as they say.
I think so. The confidence they showed in the casting is absolutely matched by the competence of the creative team. This is being treated as a major priority for 2026.
All right, so we've covered the absurdly brilliant premise, the star-studded voices bringing it to life, and the expert staff making sure it all looks and feels right.
And if you're listening to this and you're now eagerly counting down the days until 2026, and who can blame you, you don't actually have to wait to get started.
Oh, good point.
The original manga is available right now in English through MangaPlaza. It's the perfect way to get a feel for the characters and the initial chaos of the situation.
So let's wrap this up. What does it all mean?
The big takeaway is that the rom-com, pardon the intrusion, I'm home, is set for a major debut in 2026.
It has an explosive cast with the incredible ranges of Kana Hanazawa and Kaito Ishikawa.
And it's all built around this unique kind of claustrophobic hole-in-the-wall premise that throws a secret otaku into a complete romantic and comedic mess. It promises to be a whirlwind.
For sure. And here's a final thought for you to chew on as we head out.
Go for it.
If the hole in the wall is what physically forces this social interaction, pushing Rinko out of our comfort zone, do you think this anime might be subtly tapping into a post-pandemic cultural feeling?
Interesting.
I mean, are we watching a comedy that's using this bizarre premise to explore modern isolation? And maybe even, that desperate need we all kind of have to break down our own walls and reconnect no matter how weird or awkward it might be.
That is a perfect idea to end on. We'll see you next time for the next deep dive.